Hi guys, welcome back. We're going to be talking about equal groups, story problems with fractions involved. Fractions. I'm on page 106 if you're following along at home. This is lesson 22. We're going to talk about our first example here. It says example number 1. 2/3 of the 12 musicians played guitars. How many of the musicians played guitars? 2/3 of the 12, okay? So that means for example number 1, we have 2/3, we can write that down. Of the 12 means that, basically when we're doing fractions, guys, it is, and write this down in your notes, it's part over whole, okay? Part over whole. Another way you may hear this is over of, is over of. Is means our part, of means our whole, okay? And this happens a lot in word problems. And so we have our fraction. This is our part out of the whole pie, right? When we're talking about fractions. And so it says, of the 12 musicians, of being a key, 12 being total. The whole group of musicians were 12, and we want to know how many of them play guitars. We'll take a look at this. This is a proportion. A proportion is just a fraction. Comparing two proportions is called a ratio, and so what we have here is a ratio. We don't know what's going to go up there, okay? But if we look at this, we have 3 times, I'm going to use a little dot for a times sign instead of the x. 3 times 4 gives us 12, right? Well, what about if I do it on the bottom? I've got to do it up top here. We've been talking about how fractions have to stay equal, right? So that means 8. That means 8 musicians played the guitar. I always spell guitar wrong. Did I spell that right? I did. Whew. Feel like I'm being judged. All right. So that means 8 out of the 12 played guitar, okay? So we're looking for proportionate fractions here. Make sure when you're answering word problems, you're answering it with a sentence. Now, the book shows you how to go about grouping all of these things. I think that can be a little bit more complicated. I like this method, but if you want to do it that way, you're more than welcome to. Example number 2, Corey has finished 3/4 of the 28 problems on the assignment. Remember, of is our whole, right? Of the 20, in general, sometimes that's different. Of our 28. So how many were in the, how many problems were there? Well, 4 times what will give us 28? Hopefully you said 7, right? 4 times 7. So if we do it on the bottom, we're gonna need to do it on the top. That gives us 21. That means Corey has finished 21 problems. 21 problems, okay? Let's look at the next one. Example number 3. How much is 3/5 of $3? How much is 3/5 of $3? Now this one's a little tricky, right? Let's not think of it like $3. Let's instead think of it like 300, right? 300. If we take 300 and we, what do we need to multiply 5 by to get 300? Let's do some quick math over here. 5 times 6 will give me 30, right? With no remainder, which means I have to have a 0 here. So 5 times 60 gives me 300 or $3, right? Basically it's 60 cents, okay? Now, if I multiply it there, I have to multiply it here. 3 times 6 is 18 with 1 0, so 180. Notice how this was $3? This is gonna be $8, or I'm sorry, $1.80. $1.80. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, guys, let's go ahead and do the practice problems on page 108. Go ahead and pause the video and get those practice problems. See if you can't do those and we'll come back, and then come on back. All right, 3/4 of the 12 musicians could play the piano. 3 out of 4 could play the piano. That means 3/4 of the 12 could play the piano. How many could play the piano? We need to multiply this by 3, okay, because that'll give us 12. And what I do on the bottom, I have to do on the top, so that's 9. So 9 musicians could play the piano. And just from an English, so your English teachers don't come back on me, this 9 needs to be spelled out. 9. I was just being lazy. 9. If you start a sentence with a number, you need to spell it out no matter what the number is. So even if it's 2019, you got to spell it all the way out. All right, so for B, how much money is 2/3 of $4.50? $4.50. Again, we're going to ignore that decimal right there for right now, okay? 3, and then we've got 450. 3 goes into 4 one time, right? Subtract and bring down. That gives us 5. And 5 times 3 is 15 with a remainder of 0. So we've got 150. Oh, whoops, sorry. So 3 times $1.50, right, gives us $4.50. But what we do on the bottom, we're going to have to do up here, times $1.50. $1.50 times 2 just means we're doubling it, right? So that's $2, and then that 50 cents doubled makes it $3 total. Okay, so $3. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, let's talk about C. What number is 4/5 of 60? Of goes in the bottom, right? So 5 times, let's do some math over here. 60 goes into, 5 goes into 60 by doing 1. That's 5, 10, 5 goes in, 5 times 2 gives us 10 with no remainders. So 5 times 12, and I should make sure you have a multiplication chart for that purpose. What we do on the bottom, we got to do on the top here. Okay, so multiply that by 12, we get 48. So 40, what number is 4/5 of 60? 48. This is your answer right here. Okay, make sure to circle your answers, okay? D, what number is 3/10 of 80? Of 80. Well, I need to multiply 10 by 8 in order to get 80, right? 3 times 8 is 24. So this would be your answer. All right, 5/6 of 24 is what number? What number? 6 times 4 gives me 24. 5 times 4 gives me 20. That is your answer. Excellent work, guys. All right, so if you have any questions, let me know. If you want to draw them out, you're more than welcome to, of course. I just wanted to show you a way that I think is a little bit easier on solving those. So let me know what your thoughts are, and we will see you in class. Thanks, guys.